Okay, let's talk about blow drying. All right, so several things when you blow dry. You need a round brush. You can use a paddle brush, but for the most part in the salons, you're gonna be using a round brush. There's different diameters of round brushes. You wanna use one that matches the length of the hair. So obviously, if I'm doing, my bangs, I don't want a big 3-inch brush or 4-inch brush to do my bangs. I'm gonna use a smaller, a 1 or a 2-inch brush. Medium length hair, I want to just use about, a 2 to 3 inch round brush. The idea of round brushing and blow drying is to get volume. So it's not just getting the hair dry, it's also getting volume. It's also smoothing out the cuticle. I'm also trying very hard to get rid of the frizz and the kinks in the hair. It should look like we flat ironed it, even though we round brushed it and blew it dry. Okay, the less heat we can put on the hair, the better. So why put a 400-degree iron on there and flat iron it if I don't have to? And if I can do that with air, why not? Okay, so first things I want to make sure you understand is that the hair has zones. Okay, so when I'm referring to zone 1, okay, that means that this hair from the scalp to the midsection is zone 1. Zone 2 is going to be in the middle. Zone 3 is going to be these ends that are already dry. They're a lot older. They maybe have old color or highlights. The zone 3 is going to dry real easy. It's going to process easy. It's going to curl real easy, okay? It's also going to break very easily. So we want to be careful with zone 3 in everything that we do. But for round brushing, we're going to start with zone 1. Okay, we're going to roughly blow dry with no nozzle. Then we're going to put our nozzle on. Once zone 1 is dry all over the entire head, then we're going to put our nozzle on. Okay, you want to use high heat. You want to use a full fan, okay, because time is money, right? So we don't want to sit here all day and blow dry and blow dry and blow dry, right? We got our next client waiting. So we want this done. Okay, so we're going to use high heat, high fan. We're going to use our nozzle on zones 2 and 3. Okay, when you hold this, hold it so that the heaviest part is over your wrist. Always keeping your wrist straight in everything that you do. Okay, we don't ever want to stress out these tendons by doing this. Okay, you can hold it like this if you want to, but just remember that air has to direct down the hair strand. Not like this where it's comfortable and I'm pushing that cuticle backwards. I want to go down the hair strand, always with my air is pointing down the hair. Okay. So for me, I find it super comfortable to hold my blow dryer like this. The heaviest part should just sit right between my thumb and my index finger. I can easily hold it. Okay, engage those abs, get those shoulders back. Okay. And then I'm going to put my nozzle on. Okay, my nozzle has a line. It needs to be parallel to my brush at all times. So when I'm brushing, I am holding them parallel to each other. So my nozzle's not like this, it's like this. Clear about that? Okay. My dominant hand is controlling the brush. The brush is what does the work, not the blow dryer. Okay? Blow dryer is just throwing heat. This is what I'm working that hair with. I'm constantly rolling, I'm pulling, I'm getting tension on that hair, and I am getting that hair nice and smooth and straight. So I have to force it a little bit and put some tension on it. A lot of your round brushes are going to already have a little separator in here. Use it. Just don't, be careful not to stab them on their head, but we can slide that across the scalp and section the hair, okay? We're always going to start in the nape, work our way to the top, and in the back, and work our way to the front, okay? A lot of times I'll do the bangs first because right here, if the hair tends to part funny, we want to get it while it's nice and wet. We don't want to give that hair time to dry, so a lot of times I'll go ahead and do the bangs first. So first thing we're going to do is roughly blow dry. Picking that hair up off the scalp, getting it, all that air underneath here, and getting it nice and dry all over zone 1. All right. once zone 1 is dry, I am going to go back into my nape area. I'm going to isolate this nape. I'm going to clip all this hair up out of the way, and I'm going to just work now in this nape area and zone 2 and 3, getting it nice and round brushed. Change my angle real quick. All right, so real quickly I'm going to do this with no air. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I am separating. This section is the same size as my round brush. You can clearly see I don't have a huge chunk of hair here. I have just enough to go the width and diameter, the length of my round brush. Okay, I'm also going to pull that hair up, not down, because I want volume, right? So I'm pulling that hair up and turning at the same time until all of zone 2 is dry, then zone 3, always holding my nozzle parallel to my ends. See that volume? See the round brush? Look at that. That's what we want on every section of the head. Holding my nozzle parallel, but never touching the hair with my nozzle. You touch this thing right now, and it's going to burn you. So imagine what it's going to do to your hair. You never want to touch the nozzle to the hair or the brush. Keep it about an inch away. Turn those in, and bam. Okay? Now, we are also never putting any of this down. Okay? And just keep right on going. Go to my next section. Do not disturb the hair underneath here. You already did that. Okay, so all I want to do is take my next section, grab it, pull up on it so I'm not disturbing that hair underneath. This is going to burn. Okay, I can tell you right now, your shoulders are going to burn. Okay, now look at that. So I have volume here in my first section and in my second. I'm going to move around. I'm going to get all this mannequin done. Never gonna touch this hair or this hair underneath. that is how we round brush. We're gonna continue working up the hair. We're gonna go from this to the sides, up to the top. Then I'm gonna do the crown area. We wanna do the crown area going back. So I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna really over direct it by pushing that hair forward when I round brush and bringing it back, up and back, so I have nice big volume. I'm not gonna dry the rest. I'm just gonna go to the top so you can see what I mean about that crown area, or my fifth section. I always call it my fifth section because it's not right or left or front or back, it's the top. This is where all the magic happens. This is where the layers are. This is where the fringe is. This is where, you know, we want volume. This is what's gonna fall around her face. Okay, so we're just gonna have to pretend all this is done. My fifth section is gonna go right across her part. It's basically gonna be everything above the parietal ridge, all the way around the head. Okay. And here's my basic fifth section. Right across the center of her head. I'm gonna start in the back. I'm gonna go horizontal across her head. I'm gonna work this hair, but again, I'm not gonna pull it back and blow dry it because that's gonna make this real flat. So I've gotta really over direct my hair here, pushing it forward, but round brushing it back. Hope that makes sense. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about when I get to actually blow drying here. Okay, here we go. Let that sit for a minute, let it cool off a bit before I just let it go. So these ends are done, nice and smooth, and then let it go back in. Okay? So you can see, look at the volume that I was able to create here just with my round brush. Okay, I can let that cool. I could have put a Velcro roller here so it sets really nicely, but this is tremendous volume. This is awesome. And of course, all the hair underneath would have already been dried, but I'm gonna lower her a bit so I'm not killing myself. But I guarantee you, your shoulders are gonna hurt. Okay, I'm gonna finish round brushing a couple more sections here so you can see. Hopefully you can see the top and you can see my rectangular base that I've created right here. And look how it matches my round brush. The length is the same, the diameter is the same. That's what's gonna give me the most volume. And again, I'm pushing that hair away from me when I round brush so I get a lot of volume at the base. look at from the side, you can really see the volume I've created here. This is that Victoria's Secret's hair, ladies. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, and then I usually will, this one right around the forehead, I will go in her face and pull it towards me so that I am getting the most volume out of this section that I can. This mannequin also has bangs, so we'll be doing both the bangs and that second section right behind it. Of course, you would never wet it. I'm just wetting it because it's dried out and I want to demonstrate to you how to blow dry properly this section. So. And I'll do the bangs. Consider where you want that hair to lay. So when I round brush it, I'm going to pull it in that direction that I want it. If it's a side bang, well, I want to lay it to its side. I'm still pulling up at the base, but I'm laying that down to its side. And if I'm going to face frame it, I'm going to pull that face frame around her face. It has a nice pretty frame here. And right behind the bangs, and do the same thing, pull it forward. That way I know I'm getting the most volume out of this base that I can. Always working zone 1 first, picking it up, putting it back on the round brush, rolling, unrolling until I get a nice smooth, beautiful. And zone 3. Okay. When I'm done, I'm going to take my nozzle off. Be very careful. Be careful because that nozzle is really hot when you pull it off. I'm going to change my settings to cool. And I'm going to push cool. I'm going to do a rough blow dry. Kind of lay out that hair the way I want it. People, okay? Because you can't really see her bangs, but they look beautiful. All right, this process is going to take you a while, so don't be in a rush. It is definitely going to be, it's going to hurt a little bit. Sorry, you have to see my fat neck. Hold on 1 second. It's going to hurt a little bit. I promise you, you'll build up your strength, you'll build muscle memory. Sectioning is super important. Take your time blow drying. It has to be good, okay? All right, have fun.